4 million children living in poverty, 2/3 of them in working families, 100,000 children homeless, new food banks opening every day, children arriving in school without the proper footwear and clothing for the weather conditions, young people choosing courses not on the basis of their talents and aspirations, but whether their parents can afford the equipment and textbooks, children walking miles to school because their parents cannot afford the bus fare, children arriving in school too hungry to concentrate. These aren't statistics of some far distant developing country. These shameful and scandalous statistics are today in the UK as a result of an economic policy which has savagely cut the wages of ordinary working people, plundered their pensions, stripped them of their jobs, and decimated the services on which they rely. Whilst the policy of savage austerity has taken its harsh toll on working people and families across the country, particularly hard hit have been those who work in public services, those providing the most vital services on which all of us rely. My union, NASUWT, is proud to represent teachers and head teachers across the United Kingdom. Thank you. Teachers who have seen their wages cut by thousands of pounds a year and, like many ordinary families, have been forced to cut back on food and essential household items, to become reliant on credit and overdrafts, and who are also day after day providing at their own expenses increasing numbers of the children they teach with food, clothes, equipment and even money. Like all public service workers, since 2011, teachers have been subject to pay freezes and the year-on-year pay gap, which has crushed public services and public service workers and has resulted in deep cuts to their pay. The starting salaries for new teachers are now 15% below comparable graduate professions. Teachers have lost thousands of pounds because of the cumulative year-on-year pay cuts as salaries fail to keep pace with inflation, national insurance and pension contribution increases. Teachers' pay has plummeted as workload has escalated. And this is at a time when pay settlements in the private sector average 2.6% and when chief executives are being paid 100 times more than the average wage in the UK. So is it any wonder that there is a deep crisis in the teacher supply, depriving thousands of children across the country of their entitlement to be taught by a qualified teacher? And whilst the recent announcement from the Treasury of the lifting of the pay gap for the next year's pay round may be a step in the right direction, it is not an end in itself. That move alone will not ensure that significant increases in pay which are long overdue. The quality of our public services rely on those who work in them being recognised and rewarded as the skilled professionals they are, and having working conditions which enable them to do their jobs effectively. Teachers' pay and conditions of service are inextricably linked to the provision of high quality education. Attacks on teachers' pay and conditions are therefore attacks on the children and the young people they teach. It's time to end the callous social and economic policies which have heaped misery on so many people and families. It's time to end the unfairness, the inequality and the injustice. Britain needs fair pay, not low pay, and it needs it now. Thank you.